What is happening, YouTube? How y'all doing today? It is Tuesday. Welcome back from the holiday. My name is Joe, just your average Joe. We're hanging out in the garage. We got some sales to go over. Not a ton. Did not hit goal. I just had my deposit this morning from eBay to my bank account, and still hadn't hit goal. I thought we were going to have an amazing weekend, and because we crushed it last week going into the weekend, but we just didn't have a great weekend. So it is what it is. But I deposited like a 1050 for the week, which is, my goal is 1400. If you all hung out with me before, you know where my goal is for what I need and what I do, and where I'm at. So and everybody's goals are going to be different, but that's just how I do things. So yeah, I didn't quite hit goal. Here comes FedEx. I don't know if I got anything for me, but anyway, yeah, so a little disappointed. We'll go over sales shortly. We have some comments to go over. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed. Oh, by the way, I've been reselling on eBay for about 24 years or so. But I've been full time, give or take, full time since for about 8 years, give or take. So, but anyway, been around a while. Been buying and selling on eBay for a long, long time. It's my preferred platform to buy and sell. So anyway, there's that. So I dropped a hunting video from old. So if you didn't watch it, I did basic editing, copy and paste. That's all I did was copy or cutting stuff out and just putting some snippets of things together out and about hunting. It was old footage from a collection, from a collection. It was toward the end of the video, and just other things that I picked up. I think there was 4 or 5 different snippets of yard sales that I went to and picked things up, showing me doing the deals and things like that. So if you haven't checked that out, check that out. It's the last video before this one on the channel, and my plan is to do more of that. That was old footage from like a year and a half ago that's been sitting on my memory card because, like I said, I literally relaunched doing this platform, doing it this way back in like March. So that was all footage from before March, basically. So that would have been old footage, year and a half-ish ago, maybe even 2 years ago, some of that footage. So it was old footage. I've got another I cleared through that memory card. There's a bunch of just not very good stuff. There's you take a lot of video, but you don't get a ton of action. So I try to just put in a little bit more of the action. Again, my editing skills are terrible. They'll get better as we go, hopefully. But my editing, that's why I stopped doing YouTube for a while and then just changed to do it this way, was because this is no editing. This is quick and easy. I mean, it took me literally 3 hours to go through all the footage and then just chop up a few videos that were decent and then put them together for a 23-minute video. So that's why I hate editing. That's why I hate doing that part of it and don't really want to do that. But I know you guys enjoy it, and so I'm going to try to do it, a little bit more often. I'm not going to say once a week. I'm not going to hold myself to a once a week thing or set y'all's expectations for once a week. But occasionally, I'm going to drop those kind of videos. I have another memory card of stuff that I got to go through, including what I did this weekend. So it is older footage plus the newest thing, the newest footage from this past weekend. And then my plan is to just kind of stay on top of it, because part of the reason it took so long is because I had so much footage. Typically I won't have that much. It won't take that long for me to do it, so it won't be that daunting and inconvenient for me to sit for that long to have to do it. So it's staring at a screen for for 3 hours. I start not feeling good after a while, watching all the videos and being close up on the monitor. Like it almost makes me nauseous at this point. I don't really, so I just like motion sickness almost. It's weird, but never really had that problem as when I was younger. But I don't normally sit in front of a camera watching video for 3 hours at a time, and copy and paste and move things around. And, like I'll be in front of a camera for Facebook Live, but I'm sitting back, I'm doing stuff. I don't know. It was just different. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't feeling good that day. But anyway, that's nor here nor there. My plan is to put a little bit more of that out from time to time, show you guys that side of it. And again, hopefully my editing skills will get a little quicker. I won't have as much footage to go over, and I can kind of, give you guys a 20-30 minute video of me being out in the wild hunting, doing deals. I think that's the funnest part, is showing some of the things that I pick up and then doing the deals with the folks that are running the yard sales. So that's what I got to say about that. So hopefully, guys, if you haven't watched it, watch it. So there's that. All right, let's go ahead and go over comments. We have quite a few comments to cover, and then we'll jump into sales. We only had 11 sales for 414.75. I really needed to hit like 600 or so, 6+ over the weekend, but we only hit 414.75, and that's Sorry, I keep probably messing up the mic, but that's including yesterday, really. So that's really, it's not good. It wasn't good. I sold something yesterday that's not going to go toward my payout, or technically, so it's really only did like $300 over the weekend. So not good. It is what it is. Jeff, last weekend we crushed it. I mean, I absolutely killed it last weekend. I think we did like $900 over the weekend. This weekend, 414. So not great. And again, that's including Monday as well because we had the holiday. So it is what it is. We will go ahead and jump into that shortly, and I'll show off and pull those orders. But let's go ahead and get over comments first. First three comments actually come from Fartsack Jack. Fartsack Jack says, BS, go live. I would go live if the video was getting traction. I would, and once we hit 1,000, my goal is to go live more often and to schedule the lives and things like that. That was kind of like a test run, but yeah. So the whole, that's not what I wanted to do. So my plan is to go live, probably once a week, but I think I'm going to wait till I hit 1,000 subscribers, and I'm going to schedule it because that video only got like 70 views on it. And most of my videos get 200 to 300 views, 400 somewhere in that range, 300 give or take. That one only got like 70. So I don't think the live went well as far as gaining new members, gaining traction, getting views and things like that. So I'm unfortunately not going to go live until we get to 1,000 subscribers. And then we'll probably do some scheduling. I think that'll work better, and do it like once a week. Mainly for y'all that watch regularly is what it'll be for, I think. Replied on newest video. So yeah, it'll be more so really for you guys, the followers, you guys that support the channel, that you guys want to just kind of hang out with me and talk and shoot the breeze a little bit. I'll probably do it for like 30, 45 minutes and just be live with you guys, and schedule it. So that way folks that want to hang and stuff like that, we can just kind of hang in the garage or maybe upstairs, and, I can tinker with some things while we do some talking and chit chatting. So, anyway, so that's my plan there. So Farsight Jack also says, put yourself in the buyer's shoes. I wouldn't even think of buying from you if you didn't answer me. And the measurements should be there. It's part of the gig, bro. Maybe sales would increase if you put measurements. Well, first of all, Farsight Jack, I'm going to say I wouldn't. If you're the type of customer that wants measurements and is that picky about their clothes, you probably shouldn't be buying from me, and you probably shouldn't be buying your clothes from online. If you're that picky about your clothes, you probably should go into a store and try them on. So that's the first thing I'm going to say there. Second of all, I'm not a clothes reseller. Like, that's not my niche. So I'm not going to measure and do all that every time. I'm going to put what it says on the tag, extra large, large, whatever. So there's that. I'm not going to go off and take an extra 3-4 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes to do the measurements. Actually, it's not even that long, probably a minute or two to do the measurements. I don't really care enough to do it, to be totally honest with you. Number three, again, it wouldn't even be buying from you if you didn't answer me. Well, that's fine. If you're the type of customer, I don't even know my measurements. I know I'm a 3XL. So I don't know my measurements, and some people do, and that's great. And so if you're that customer that is that particular about your clothes measurements, that you need to know the measurements because you're in that in between, then again, my thing is, I'm not the person. Don't buy from me. And I'm okay with that. And I'm not bitching about not having sales for clothes, because they do sell pretty regularly. In fact, I had 2 or 3 things sell over the weekend, clothes wise. So I'm not the one bitching about not having sales for clothes. So there's that. So I'm gonna come. You come at me, I'm gonna come right back at you. Don't come barking up my tree. Don't give a shit if I don't answer you, and that's fine if you don't want to buy from me. If it's about measurements for clothes, I've been, over the years, it's because people on eBay have put me in that position because they never reply to me or don't buy from me after I do send a measurement. So it's one of those things where it's a cause and effect. I've done it for so long and put the measurements, or didn't. I never put measurements in my listings, but that's no here nor there. If you're a clothes reseller, I would expect that. If that's your niche, I would probably say, yeah, you need to have measurements in all of your clothes. I got a fair amount of clothes, but when it comes to like being a clothes reseller, I don't come anywhere near. I probably have, I don't know, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, I don't know, maybe 100 pieces of clothes, not a ton. But again, it goes back to, I'm not a regular clothes reseller. I'm not going to take the extra minute or two to put the measurements. That's just is what it is. If you don't want to buy from me, that's fine. I'm not bitching about my sales on clothes anyway. I hate clothes to begin with, so I'm not going to take the extra time to put the stuff in the clothes. So there's that. And furthermore, again, I don't reply, and that's fine if you don't want to buy from, not you particularly, but if folks don't want to buy from me because I don't reply to them, That's okay. Somebody else will. And that, again, it's a cause and effect. I've been doing eBay long enough, and I've been my sales. What's it called? The number of sales I've gotten after I've sent measurements to customers is probably less than 1%. You know what I mean? So like out of every 10 people that send me a request, and this is in the past when I used to send measurements to people, because I would, if you need measurements, I used to come out and do the thing and the thing and the arm to the thing and the pit to the pit and whatever, from top to bottom, and send out those measurements. And again, 99.75% of the time, I wouldn't get a reply back, or I would just get, okay, thank you. And it wouldn't execute, it wouldn't translate into a sale. So at the end of the day, doing that umpteen million times in the past has yielded my effect of, you know what, I don't even answer anymore. So that's fine. If folks don't want to buy from me because they're that particular, I don't want you buying from me if that particular, because guess what's going to probably happen? You're probably going to get that piece of clothing and say there's some sort of fucking crazy little, because you're that particular, there's going to be some sort of little blemish that I may have not seen, or that's so irrelevant that you're going to do a return on me anyway, or it still doesn't fit right. So you want to return. You didn't like the way the sleeve fit, or you didn't like, so you know what? I don't want you buying from me anyway. I don't need customers that are that particular. I don't want those customers, because a lot of times that's going to translate to a return. Sue me. I don't know. What? Hit me back. I don't know. I don't really care, but that's my stance on clothes, and I'm sticking to it. And again, that's based on my experience, cause and effect, and that niche. Everybody else, I reply, but clothes and measurements, nah, man, nah, fam, ain't doing it. So anyway, that's what I got to say about that, Farsack Jack. So there's that. Next one, he says, almost always cheaper to say just keep it. Most items I get are so cheap I wouldn't want to pay to ship it back. Correct. Me and you can agree there. 9 times out of 10, I'm not in the item very much. And the fact that you got to pay and eat the return shipping ain't going to happen. Not doing it. Just keep it. Here's your money back. Call it a day. It ain't worth it. Now, obviously, as the item gets more expensive, gets a higher dollar amount on it, like I'd mentioned before about that $20-ish range, that's where I may consider having them return it 20 to 30. But anything under $20, it it's just not worth it. I probably got it for $1 or $2, and then I got to pay shipping. Technically, I got to give them back the original shipping. If it's something that I missed, if it's something they missed, then I don't give an original shipping back. I only do the free return, and then I deduct the original shipping. But if it's something I missed, then, or it's a damage, then I got to give them return shipping and the original shipping, and it's just not worth it when it's like a $20 item. So anyway, so we can agree on that one, Farsack Jack. I like it. All right, next one up is Ayo Gusto. Ayo Gusto, what's happening? He says, hey, Joe, I had a similar scam happen to me back in 2020 at the store at the start of the pandemic. The buyer said I sent him a completely different shoe model from the one he ordered. That was a complete lie. The long story short, I guilt tripped them because I knew he was lying. I told him that he should be ashamed of himself, that I'm out here risking my life to deliver shoes he ordered because it was during the pandemic. Good call. That he ordered when we were in a pandemic. He sent the shoes back and I gave him a refund. End of story. What a joker. Some people are just douchebags, man, and just low lifes. I mean, yeah, man, that's terrible. I'm glad you got the return and got your original shoes back and didn't have to eat anything there. But yeah, so people are douches, man. I know for a fact that game was not the right game was in there. But again, it's a $12 game to eat shipping back and then eat original shipping because they're gonna. It ain't worth it for me. It wasn't worth it to do a return on that one. But I understand Ayo Gusto. So next one is Mark. Mark, welcome. Thank you for commenting. Mark says, seems like you sourced those video game consoles just years ago. You should see how difficult it is nowadays to get them for cheap. I mean, I just got a PS2 on my pickup I just did for like $5 in some games. And I mean, granted, it's not as easy as it used to be. I'll give you that. But Marketplace, I just picked up a Super Nintendo for $70 that was probably $250 in value. I mean, I'm paying up a little bit, being on Marketplace, but I don't mind paying up a little bit when there's, I can at least flip it to at least 100, if not more, is ideal. A lot of my deals for video game stuff comes through Marketplace, and then power of the ask. You ask people at all the yard sales, you get a ton of no's, but you get that one yes, like I showed in that other video. Now, granted, that was almost 2 years ago, but in that one video, the dude invited me in his house, and that's like the third or fourth time I've had people invite me in their house to buy a decent collection off of them. So and again, I do have my Facebook group, and I do put out there occasionally. I haven't done it in a while. Probably need to do it now that's Christmas time and get it out there again. That I'm buying video games, and I've got a PS5 for trade for old retro video games. I try to strategize in different places and hustle in different areas. But being out in the wild, if you're just referring to being out in the wild and finding video games, it's not that hard. It's not. I wouldn't say it's much harder than it used to be, and I wouldn't say it's more or less expensive than it used to be. So yeah, that one I can't agree on that one, Mark. And in fact, like I said, the PS2 which I'll end up getting footage on at some point, and putting it in a video here in the coming future soon, because I got to go through the other memory card. I have two 120 gig memory cards. I went through the one for the footage I gave you guys already, and then I got the other one that I used this past Saturday. I wasn't out long. I was out for maybe like 2 hours. Didn't go to a ton of sales, but one of them I found a PS2 in the wild with like 10, 12 games. Nothing really good, but like 10, 12 games. The guy wanted $5. That's kind of dirty and janky. Don't know if it works, but I mean, even if it doesn't work, there's $5 worth of games in there, and there's a broken PS2 goes for like 30, $40. So, and I can tinker with it if it's something, take the cover off. It's not reading games. I can take the cover off and clean the lens, and then they normally fire up it for me at that point, usually. But if not, you can replace the hard drive or replace the disk drive, and for another like $30, and then try to sell it for 120. So it's worth it for the $5. Anyway, I'm rambling, but I still find games pretty regularly, man. I still find stuff. Yeah, pretty. In fact, I did a deal. Somebody had a marketplace yesterday. I went and picked it up. It was four Game Boy games. Two of them was Mario 2, it was Metroid 2, it was Batman Returns, and some other, I forget what the other one, Pac-Man or something trash. They wanted $15 for all of them, $15. And then I asked them, do you have any other video game stuff? And they said, yeah. They sent me a couple other games. I forget what the name of the game is. It's a 360 game that goes for like $20. They wanted $5 for it. So I ended up for $20 getting like, I don't know, $80-ish worth. It wasn't a huge deal, but I got like $80-ish worth of games. I mean, Metroid goes for 30. I keep hitting my thing, and it's probably going to translate through the mic. I'm sorry, guys. Metroid goes for like 30. Mario 2 on Game Boy goes for like 20. Batman Returns is like 15 or something, 12 to 15. The Xbox game is like 20. So, you're at about $80 for 20, and it was right down the road, so it was worth it. So I'm on Marketplace a lot and get a lot of those deals on Marketplace. And there is a ton of people. More people are asking way more than the stuff is worth, or right on retail of what it's worth. So I can't buy that. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff out there, but you got to, there's always for the 10 items that are out there for retail. There's 2 or 3 that are out there for a good deal. You just got to be quick to the trigger and be on there. So, I always see it all the time. I miss deals all the time on there, man. I'm like, what recently sold? They got that item. As you keep scrolling, it gets to the most recently sold, or what recently sold. And I see things that like, dang, or it's too far away. Like somebody's got a great deal on something, but it's an hour and a half away, and I'm not trying to do an hour and a half drive, 3 hours round trip, up in Raleigh. Raleigh normally has the good stuff for good prices. That's normally where I say to myself, dang, I wish I was up in Raleigh, but it's an hour and a half, at least an hour and a half drive there and then back. So you're talking 3.5 hours round trip. So anyway, there's that. So next comment up is Nick996. I believe, Nick, I think this is the second time you've commented. Nick, welcome. Appreciate you commenting. Nick says, I agree with you a lot. You don't hold on. I agree with you a lot. You do. For some reason I can't read. I agree with you. My brain is not working right now. I agree with a lot you do, but reusing bubble mailers is just a cheap look and looks unprofessional. I can't bring it to myself to do it. They cost a couple cents saved, I think, would lose more and not getting repeat buyers. I mean, if you really think getting a used envelope that's going to come through the mail looking like used anyway, because they're going to come through bent up and stuff, just because it's got a label and I put my label over it, if you think that's going to cause a non-repeat buyer, I think you're lost touch with reality, man. I really do. And at the end of the day, I'd rather keep stuff out the landfill and reuse it. Now, if you want to call me cheap, that's fine. You're not the first person. My buddy calls me cheap all the time, and that's fine. I'll take it. But at the end of the day, I don't believe like this came in the mail all wrinkled up and stuff. Like, don't you think it's going to get to the other end all wrinkled up, even if it's looks brand spanking new? Obviously, I do have new bubble mailers. You know, a new bubble mailer is going to come to you all wrinkled up. I mean, it's going through the mail. So you put your label over it, you put some tape on top of it. I don't think repeat buyers. Look, all I'm going to say is my followers keep going up on eBay. So I can't imagine that if you're that particular that you think somebody's unprofessional because they're reusing a bubble mailer, then that's a pretty petty person. And I think you're being kind of petty just even saying that, to be honest with you. To reuse is unprofessional. Well, first of all, are resellers the most professional people in the world? Are we perceived as like super professional? Like, let's be real. Let's start there too. I mean, that could be a whole topic of conversation. But at the end of the day, I don't think people are that petty. And if they are, then you probably don't want that person following you anyway, or being a repeat customer. If they're that fucking petty that they're not going to follow you or do a repeat buy because your bubble envelope was a reused envelope. I don't even think most people care or even put any thought into that, to be honest. But that's fine. If you feel that way, you have that right. But I'm just going to rebuttal and say I think that's bullshit. So I'm just going to say that. So Nick, again, thank you for commenting. And that's fine. To each his own. We'll just leave it at that. I'll be the cheap, unprofessional one and keep reusing bubble wrap, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. And that's, again, your perspective. What are y'all's thoughts on that? Everybody else, let's have a little chime in on that. Y'all throw some comments. Is it cheap and unprofessional? Do you think you're not going to get repeat buyers because you reuse a bubble mailer? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, Winston Wolf replies to Nick and says, I definitely do it, but I recently got some yellowish brown padded envelopes. They were so cheap. The quality is good too, but yeah, I'll keep repurposing my Amazon bubble mailers, but I wrap the game in bubble wrap before putting it in. I agree it looks poor and cheap, but it's also environmentally friendly, I think. Winston Wolf agrees with you, apparently. Well, again, I don't think I don't think repeat buyers is going to do anything. If you want to call it cheap and unprofessional, I don't think that's the case either. Maybe it does look a little cheap, but I don't think anybody's judging you when they receive their package. Like, this motherfucker's cheap, man. He reused a bubble mailer. What the fuck is up with this guy? I'm not buying from him again. It's more so, let me open this bitch up and see what I got in my package and throw this thing away. Like, oh, the item is in good condition and it's great. It's better than what I thought. Oh, this is a great buyer, seller. I'm going to buy from them again. I'm going to add them to my follow thing. Come on. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Anyway, Winston Wolf, that's for you too, man. I don't think most customers are, the first thought in their mind is, this is cheap. I can't believe they reused the bubble wrapper. What is this trash about? They're so unprofessional. I'm never buying from this person again. Anyway, all right, I'm going to move on. Let's move on. The picky picker. The picky picker. I do the same thing when I get a sale in terms of sending them a thank you message to buyers. It would be nice if eBay had an automatic message upon the sale feature, but looking at the bright side, it allows you to send a message to the buyers thanking them for their purchase and to send them and to set ourselves apart from other sellers who aren't, while it takes only 15 seconds to copy and paste that thank you message. I also tweak the message sometimes. Fair. Absolutely. The picky picker. I am, that's something I'm doing going forward to help avoid those returns in those unnecessary cases. In fact, that's something I got to talk about real quick. The guy, if you guys were watching, the guy that opened up the case for the Apple TV, another situation that it was opened up for the wrong issue. It worked. It just didn't have the apps that he wanted, and you can't download apps on that one. It's not supported anymore. So he wanted to do a return. He did the return as defective. So if you didn't watch that video, that's in a nutshell what happened. So he opened up the return as the wrong option. So defective or not working is going to go under me, which is going to affect my review again in January 1 after this quarter, which I need to avoid as many as possible so I can have that extra fee taken off of my game and electronics category, have that fee removed because it charged me 5% extra because I'm too high. Well, I'm still top rated seller. So again, that's separate from being a top rated seller. That's being just charged additionally in that category because you have too many returns for defective or item not as described. So I messaged him. The last place I left off was I messaged him, let you guys know that this has worked now twice. The first one was the whatever game it was that I did that the guy returned, and then this one now is the Apple TV. So the Apple TV guy was hesitant, but he went ahead and closed it yesterday for me to close the return, and then right after that I issued him the refund, and he sent me a message right away, said, "Oh, thank you so much. I was a little worried that you weren't going to send a refund." I was like, "No, man. I've got great reviews. I've got a great rating." I was like, "I've been around eBay for a long time. I'm not trying to hear screw people over. I just want to protect my account, and not have to pay eBay a bunch of extra fees because an item was returned for the wrong category." And so he was like, he ended up actually replying to me and said, "No, I totally understand." He said, "Thank you so much. I'm going to follow your store and hopefully we can do business again." I was like, "Cool, perfect." So that's great. 2 for 2 at this point. You know what I mean? So that strategy, when they do open it up, even though I can't stop all of them, even though I send them a message up front saying, "Hey, if there's any issues, send me a let me know. Don't open a case. Let's work it. We'll be able to work it out," or whatever my verbiage is on the template that I have for that. But now, not only that, now my next ace in the hole is, well, you know what? If they do open it up and they do end up doing that, is, hey, my next strategy is go ahead and close it, and I will go ahead and issue you a refund on the back end. Or if it's an item I need them to return, I'll have them close it and I'll send them a return label first. And then if you can go ahead and close the case, I've sent you a return label off of eBay. Can you go ahead and return it? And then I can send you, once I get it back, I'll send you the refund. So that hasn't happened yet because the 2 items were cheaper items. It was just easier for me to just send a refund and then keep it. Well, the one I did get back, so he did close it. After I got it back, he closed it, which I wasn't sure if eBay would let him do that, but it did. So he was still able to close the case even though he'd returned it to me. So that may be the way to go, is have them do the return through eBay, get the label through eBay, and then once they get it, hey, go ahead and close the case for me, and then I'll issue the refund. That way it doesn't count against me. Anyway, there's that. So yeah, the Picky Picker, thank you. And Picky Picker, I actually did my first recording. I haven't uploaded it yet because I haven't done the video yet, but I had a Nintendo I got fired up and working after I changed out the 72 pin connector on it. And now I'm showed it working and taking a game and firing up. So once I list that, I'll add it as a video through the process that you showed. So I've got that just sitting on my phone. The Picky Picker also says, "Appreciate you checking out my video. Glad you got some value from it. Also, after you save the video to the desktop version and go to the app, even though it doesn't show the video in the app, it's still in the listing. I've noticed that myself. I haven't had any issues. The listing still launches from the app with the video. My recommendation is that you make the desktop version video upload your last step in the process, in the listing process, which would be for me anyway. I'd already have it listed on the app and then go through the desktop through Safari. And I address all of those in the video. I also show how to do everything on the Android. I really enjoy making and editing that video. I'm glad you like editing and doing. I need somebody that enjoys doing video editing because I'd rather pay somebody a little bit to do video editing for me. I just send them a card and they can go through the hours of footage and then chop it up and make it cool. But I haven't found that person yet because I really can't pay much. But if any of y'all are good at editing and want to make a few extra dollars, because I can't pay much, but I mean, I don't know, we can talk about how much you would like to be paid, and I can tell you if it's something I could do. But I'm not, I don't have a lot of money to pay somebody to do that. Now, as videos start blowing up and videos start doing better, and the growth channel starts growing, and we start doing better, and we actually have some monetization through YouTube, then I could obviously at that point pay more. But for now, I wouldn't be able to pay much. But anyway, so your success would be my success, and my success would be your success, kind of thing. So, but I'm just throw that out there. If any of y'all are video editors, drop a comment, let me know. Maybe we can work something out at some point. I keep hitting my leg, which is probably coming through the mic. So that's probably, I forgot who said they kept hearing something through the mic. So it's probably me hitting my leg. Anyway, I actually learned about how to turn on the desktop version from your video during the first conversation with eBay customer service representative, believe it or not, and how to adjust my shipping policies. It was very helpful. Also, if you are strategically holding off on listing great games, great items for a rainy day, it's a profit pile, not a death pile. So you're good on that front. Good call. I like that profit pile. I like it. Yeah, I got a little profit pile sitting upstairs. I got two good profit piles sitting around right now. So yeah, I like that. They're not death piles, they're profit piles. I like it. So thank you, the picky picker. So and Joyce, and thank you for commenting and being supported or being supportive of the channel. And Joy Silver says community garage sales are mostly miss in a big city. In my opinion, you're better off going to random individual sales. Last summer, I stopped at one of those sales around noon. It was around noon. Was tough to control my interest when they said few bucks total for two vintage Tool t-shirts. First, a vintage ladderless world tour t-shirt that sold for nearly 200 in a few days, and the one had holes. Took about 6 months to sell for 60. Hey, good pickups. I will agree with you, Joy Silver. Community yard sales typically are trash. However, it's slim pickings. Normally, I don't do them first. I've learned that lesson a few times. So I do usually still go to them, but I usually go to them later after the individual sales. And same thing. I've just learned over the years that they're just normally not the greatest to go to. However, right now it's it's off season ish, so there's not a ton of sales. So that was the one that was near my house, and so that's sometimes you just roll because it's convenient and it's there's not a ton of other sales to go to. In fact, this weekend the thing that kills me is the night before there's not a ton. Then when you go searching the day of, like so Friday night, usually there's not a ton. There is no over the summer, but normally then people post their yard sales like first thing Saturday morning or 10 o'clock Saturday. They've been open since 7. It's like, man, so then you go back on later and like, dang, I didn't see that sale. I didn't see that sale. I could have went to that sale. Could have went to that sale. So it kind of irritates me a little bit. But at the end of the day, because I do my map Friday night and hit everything that's been posted Friday between Thursday and Friday, I map myself out. Typically, is how I do it. And like I said, so there's not a ton of sales going on right now. There was a fair amount this past Saturday. It was warm, it was nice, and it's going to continue to be warm and nice, even though we're hitting mid November. Um, it's just unusually hotter than it normally is around this time. Normally it starts to cool off about this time, then we start having a few nights where it's freezing, and it hasn't happened yet. So anyway, yeah, so that's all I gotta say about that. So yeah, I'm with you with the whole community sales, and great pickups on the shirts. I know concert shirts and band shirts can be in old Harley shirts, like 80s Harley shirts, can be big money. So yeah, they're just hard to find. He also says my ribs are broken. Tough to list. Best of luck to everyone. Well, thank you, Joy Silver. I hope you get better. I know I've never had a broken rib, but I can imagine that's no fun. So get better soon. And when you can get back to listing, I like to list sometimes just from my couch, just chill and just boom, 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 list from my couch. Boom, boom, boom. I got the nice white cushion, so it makes a decent backdrop. All right, next one up is Cam Kane. We got a few more comments. Well, actually, we have several more comments to cover, and then we'll jump into sales. I'll try to speed it up a little bit. So Cam Kane, thank you for commenting and hanging out. I think this is the second or third time you've commented. Man, I knew I shouldn't have refunded the buyer who opened a defective, not working return. I sold a pair of jeans, and the guy returned them because the zipper was an inch shorter compared to another exact pair owned. Really, an inch shorter, so they did a return? Get the out of here. That's what goes back to Fart Sack Jack. You can't please close buyers, man, especially the picky ones. You can't, man. Anyway, since he chose the defect option return, I had to refund him the shipping as well. Didn't know that was a thing. Man, I wish I watched the video before refunding him. How bad will this affect me? I have top seller plus. Well, as long as you issued the refund, you're fine, and you won't get a defect, and you're good. Now, if you have too many returns for defective items or item not as described in clothing category, then you could see an increase on your final value fees for 3 months or for the quarter, because basically they do an update every quarter to check your return defective for defective reason or item not described reason. So, or damaged, or well, I don't know if damage falls under that, but I guess they technically would. Damaged item not anyway, defective or not as described. So that's where they hit you. At least from my experience, that's where they hit you. And if you're too high compared to your peers, then they will jack up your final value fees. In my case, it was 5% extra. So I don't know if different categories is a different up charge on the fee, but it won't affect your top rated seller. That is defects in regards to not, if you didn't issue the refund when you got it back and you had to have eBay step in, you would have gotten a defect on your account, which could lead to top rated seller being affected. So no worries there. In that case, honestly, the best thing, if it was worth it to you to just issue the refund and have them close the case, kind of like I did on the Apple TV that I just mentioned a little while ago, then if it would have been cheaper for you to just issue the refund, not worry about the return, then the only thing you really could have done in that case is say, hey, guy, close the case, please, because it's not really defective item or anything like that, and I'll just issue a refund and you can keep the damn jeans. You know what I mean? Sorry, I hit my hip again, which kind of probably came through the mic. But that's the only thing you could have done. Now, if it wasn't worth it to you because your margin and or the amount was just too much for you to do that, then unfortunately the way it went down is the way it went down. You just take the hit. As long as you don't get too many of those, then you're going to be fine. Again, you'd have to do I don't know what, I can't give you an amount. I don't know what the amount is because it's based off what you sell in that category and how many of them you've had as return for that issue or that reason. And then it compares to your category and other seller, or not, it compares to other sellers in your category is how eBay basically determines whether you're too high or not. So it's hard for me to answer that question, but if you just had the one, you shouldn't have any problems. Even if you have one or two or three under that reasoning, you should be fine. Now, as you get more and more and more of those, then that could become a problem. So that, maybe the strategy of, because I know returns on clothes is a real thing. And I know a lot of times they're going to pick, especially if they know the system, the customer's going to pick item not as described. Even if you described it to a T, they're going to find something to do it on, or they're just going to put it under item as described. Because even if you don't do returns, if they do item not as described, eBay is going to force you to return that item and give them a refund, period. No questions. And then if you don't, you're going to get a defect on your account. So anyway, that's you got to kind of know those loopholes and those workarounds. But hopefully that helps a little bit. I think you probably, outside of just giving them the refund and having them close the case and you just issuing a refund and letting them keep it, or doing the return outside of a case, if it was a higher dollar item, just say, hey, I'm going to send you a label through your email. Can you go ahead and just close that case down and then I'll get you a return label. And once I get it back, I'll issue a refund for it, going that route with it. And again, that's a hit or miss. I haven't trialed that one yet. I just give them the refunds and said, keep it. That works. So, but again, if the item was bigger dollar amount, then I would have to go through option B, return it on my dime with my label, not through eBay, and then I'll give you a refund. So hopefully that makes sense and helps a little bit. Chad Collects. Appreciate you, Chad Collects. He says, great video, Joe. Well, Chad Collects, thank you, sir. I appreciate you hanging out. Hopefully you've subscribed and, hopefully we see you around a little bit more often. Chad Collects, appreciate you hanging out. The Dark 25 Twitch. Okay, I get it now. Thanks for the information about the cancellations. I'm all for working around the system if the system isn't working to help me as it should. The rolling off part is great news for me. I appreciate you, Joe. Hey, I feel the same way. One of my old bosses used to say, sometimes you have to just make things work for you. Try to work within the guidelines the best you can, but make it work for you. And that's kind of what I'm doing there. Like, kind of working within the guidelines, but kind of not. I'm making it work for me, and it is what it is. So anyway, I've only had one customer in all the times I've had to close, and all the years I've had to close I didn't have, for whatever reason. It's always customer request for closing down or doing a return or whatever it is, closing canceling an order. That's what it is. For canceling an order, I always pick buyer request because I don't want to get a defect on my account. So I've only had one customer in, I don't know, over the really 24-ish years that I've been selling that I've ever had to, I don't know how many cancellations I've had to do on orders. Not many, but I'm sure over 24 years, let's just say, I don't know, 30 or so. I've only had 40 maybe, I don't know, in 20 some years maybe. It's probably not even that high, but I'm just guessing. I remember one customer bitching and saying, you lied on the reasoning. I'm going to call eBay and report you and blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, is it that serious? Is it that serious? Like, really? Who cares on what I selected as the reason for canceling? You know what I mean? Like, if you're out of stock by accident and you still had the listing up and they bought it, I'm sorry. Or I've had a situation where I overseen something like a crack in a disc. That's one I can remember that's coming to me right now. I had a crack in a disc in the inner circle of a game disc, and I didn't realize it had a crack in it when I listed it. And so when I went to ship it, I was like, oh shit. So I reached out to the buyer. I said, hey, I'm going to go ahead and cancel it and issue the refund. I'm sorry for the trouble. And I did it as customer request. They don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Anyway, but I'm going to make the system work for me. Yeah. Anyway, Average Joe, hey Zeus, welcome back. Hey Zeus, appreciate you commenting. Average Joe, hell yes, absolutely enjoyed the upload. Thank you for the adventure. Great work as always. Keep hustling. Continue success. Cheers, Average Joe. Hey Zeus, I appreciate you, man. Give the people what they want, right? They want some out there sourcing videos, so I gave you an out there. It wasn't edited very well at all. I know that. But thank you for watching and checking me out as I'm out there hunting. Phantom says, GoPro Joe, picking up some deals. You definitely snagged some cool stuff. Thank you for the video adventure. Well, hopefully we can do more of those a little more often as we go. The editing part has to get a little easier. The computer can handle it. By the way, for those who've been with me for a while, know that I upgraded. This computer was my old editing computer, and it would bog down, it just couldn't handle it. So my new computer that I built about, I don't know, 8 months ago now is beautiful. The thing is I built it myself, bought all the parts from Newegg. My buddy helped me get all the stuff for it because he's like a computer guy, so he knows all the specs and what I should get. So we spent a pretty penny on my new setup, and that computer flew through all the editing stuff I needed to do. It didn't bog down, it didn't freeze, it didn't nothing. It was beautiful. So so it can handle it. It's just me not knowing what to do when it comes to editing and all that. I can copy and paste, and like that's about it right now. But I will get a little better. I will check out some YouTube videos and apply those little tricks here and there. And as I want to do things, I'll check out a video on how to do something. And because I'm using CapCut, so I'm sure I'll get a little better at it. Not great, but I'll get a little better at it as we go, which will get quicker. But it also, part of it, as I mentioned before, the amount of footage I had to go through was a lot. So that in itself was just daunting, going through all that footage, which the memory card I have now has a bunch of old footage on it, plus the footage I have from this Saturday. So it's going to be kind of daunting to go through that one too. But I'm just going to pick the better stuff and then copy it and paste it and cut it and then post it. And so it'll be very simple. And then once I'm caught up, I think it'll be quicker and better and easier. And then I can kind of focus a little bit more on remembering what I wanted to show you guys from the previous day and try to do it a little bit more frequently, because I don't remember half the yard sales. Now, when I watch the video, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember this one. But I don't remember what was said, what happened, all the little nuances of what happened during the deal, because it happened so long ago. Things that are fresh in my mind from yesterday or the day before or this past weekend, it'll be easier for me to edit that, because I'll be like, oh yeah, this was the great one. I said this, or this happened during this one. Let me find that spot in the video, and I can make it easier for myself because it'll be new footage from what just happened. So anyway, I'm getting a little deep and rambling, but that's so once I get through this next video card, my goal is to be fresh with the stuff, make it, it may be a short 10, 15 minute video. It'll be just the action from the previous weekend or what just happened. So it'll be fresh in my mind. I can edit it quicker because of that. And then I can jazz it up maybe a little bit, make it, put up some, comps from eBay just to show you what the comps are and, on whatever item I picked up and things like that. So, and then maybe, talk about something, and put a little voice edit over whatever it is, so you understand where my mind was when I was picking up said item or doing said deal or whatever, things like that. So jazz it up a little bit. So anyway, the next one is Yarina, says, love the video and I love where you live. It looks so pretty. North Carolina is nice. It is. I will say it is. We have a pretty nice. It's pretty nice around here. Weather's great. I enjoy North Carolina. There's a lot of those garage sales down here. A lot of the garage sales down here are trash. Oh man. Well, a lot of them here are trash too. Trust me. What you saw was just the best of the best. So anyway, but. By the way, did you end up getting the deal with the last guy with those consoles? Did he say 600 for all? I think I heard that. Way too much in my opinion. So Yarina, yes, I did do the deal with him. That was a pretty big pickup, honestly. And yes, he did say 600 and I counted him at 4. We met at 5. And it was actually worth it. There was 2 Vitas in there. The Vitas alone go for about $150 a piece. So that was $300 just in Vitas. PS2 is 120-ish, and then the N64 is 120-ish. So that just the systems were $500. Then there was an Xbox in there. There was a GameCube in there, if I remember correctly. And then there was all the games that came with all the systems, which wasn't a ton of games, but there was a fair amount of N64 games. So it wasn't like a crazy flip like that I'm going to make a ton of money on the guy. But, I probably, if I had to guesstimate, there was probably about $900 to $1,000 worth of stuff in there. Now, granted, after fees and all that, maybe closer to 8-ish hundred, 7-ish. Well, no, I'd say there's about $1,000 worth of stuff after fees and everything, probably $800-ish, give or take. So, it was about a $300 give or take come up. It wasn't crazy money, but it was, not terrible. So I couldn't complain. Sometimes you don't smash it, and fit 500 I'd be nice. It'd be nice to make 1,500 off of it, but that wasn't there. I would have liked to have gotten it for 4, but again, he was pretty set. But there was some nice gems in the N64 pile. There were some decent games in the GameCube pile. So there was, like I said, there was about give or take $1,000 worth of stuff when it was all said and done. So I paid about half, not including fees. Customer pays shipping for all my stuff for the most part, so I don't really count shipping typically, but minus fees, probably in that $800 give or take range is what I profited. So again, not a huge score, but sometimes when it's clean and you don't have to really do much to it, because all that stuff was pretty, other than just a quick wipe down, a lot of that stuff was clean. And he said it was all working, and and if I remember correctly, all the stuff was working. So, you sometimes you just take, you take a little bit less margin and a little bit less profit because you don't have to do as much work on the back end to get it up to speed. So anyway, that's all I got to say about that. But yes, I ended up picking that one up for 500. Cash Grab says, by the way, Cash Grab, thank you for hanging out and commenting. Cash Grab says, let me reply to this. Knew this dude has a killer sourcing technique. Like the field work extensively. Well, Cash Grab, I appreciate you, man. I try, man. I try to. Hustle's real, man. Hustle's real. You gotta do, gotta hustle and do your thing, man. So, and then Mark says these sound annoying. I think he's talking about he checked out one of my old videos from storage unit auctions. Storage unit auctions are actually a good time, Mark. Believe it or not, they're a good time. Well, again, to each his own. For me, they're a good time. I love going to storage unit auctions, because you never know what's in there. They open the door and you start looking around, use your flashlight, see what's happening, and then you bid. And then when you buy one, it's like Christmas, man. Open every box and it's like, what's in here? And sometimes it close, and you're like, shit. And other times it's good stuff and you're like, yeah. So I've never done bad on a storage unit, man. Storage units are a lot of fun. They're a lot of work, because you have to know where to take stuff. So if you're going to donate stuff, you got to have your have things set up. I'm going to take this pile to the Goodwill, or I'm going to take this pile to the dump. And then sometimes you have to pay a dump fee, or if you know a local dump that will take some of the stuff, you can take it there. But if you got big stuff like mattresses and dressers that are all fucked up that you're not going to resell because they're just trashed up too bad, and just bigger things, then you gotta consider taking a trip then to the dump. So you're going to take multiple trips to different places, because you can't dump that stuff on site. You got to take it somewhere. So then all the good stuff you got to figure out, am I going to eBay this stuff, or I'm going to, back then when I used to do those heavily, is that going to be stuff we sell in the store or through a yard sale kind of thing, or is that stuff I'm going to sell through eBay and try to get a premium out of it through eBay? So then you got to kind of filter your stuff out that way too. Lots of trash in storage units though. So you got to have a plan and a place to where you can take it. And, we have a lot of local dumps that are like like you can just take your local trash and things like that. But a lot of those places, when you come up with a trailer full of stuff, they're like, you got to take it to downtown. You got to take it to the dump station downtown. And then there you got to pay to use that, because they do it by weight. And so it's like, dang, so sometimes some local spots, we're out in the country, so some local spots are cool. Some of the guys are like, yeah, go ahead and dump in that one. Go ahead and dump in that one. And then some guys are strict by the book and like, nah, man, you gotta take that somewhere else. And you're like, but last time they let me. It doesn't matter what they did last time. Today, you gotta take that to the dump. We ain't taking it. So, again, you just gotta have those plans in place and know where to take your stuff. But anyway, it's some work. Especially if you're gonna grab a large unit. If you grab a large unit, you're gonna be in for a little work. You know what I mean? So have a dolly. Yeah. So anyway, who's that? Nobody. Okay. All right. So that's the last comment. An hour to get through all those. Sorry for all my rambling. I'll get through the sales pretty quickly, but that is it. Mark, thank you, sir, once again. Oh, Cam Kane. Oh, did I not reply? Let me reply to you, Cam. Paste, reply, refresh. Ah, why is it not going away? I don't know why yours ain't going away, Cam. Let's refresh again. Oh, there it went. All right. So sales again. We only had actually we had 12 sales. Sorry, 12 sales for 414.75. The first sale that came through was actually not on my eBay. It was on our 301 Treasures eBay for my thrift store. First sale we've had on there for a while, but I figured I'd go ahead and share it and show it. This is an old Redskins, old chalk line. If you don't know about chalk line, old chalk line Redskins jacket. Well, any chalk line for that matter, but they usually sell for pretty decent. So this one sold for $35 plus shipping. $35 plus shipping on that one. The next thing that sold, and this is through my eBay, through this one. First thing is Flip and Grip Multi-Tool. Flip and Grip Multi-Tool sold. Let's find this. This sold for $28. It's got the case with it, but a little multi-tool flip and grip. So I got the little flip and grip. Pretty sure I got this for like $3 if I'm not mistaken. Sold for $28 plus shipping, so not terrible, not a bad little turnaround. I've got a ton of Atari manuals and boxes that I got from my best friend. He's not my best friend, but one of my very good friends from my old job when I worked at AT&T. He had his old collection. If you've been following me for a while, I think I showed it off back in like March when I got it for April when I got it from him. So he had a large collection of stuff that he sold to me. I did a trade actually for football helmets for all his old retro stuff, but I hadn't gotten through one of the bins that had all Atari stuff, but it didn't have many games, but it had all the boxes and manuals. So I got probably 30 boxes and manuals. This one sold for $25 plus shipping, box and manual only. Now, some of them are trash and I threw them away because they weren't like none sold, none up. Well, some bunch up, but none sell. So some of them I just chucked. Others are 25-ish, 14, give or take. Most of them are in that 25 to 14 range, or 15 to 25 range. So hopefully we start seeing some sales on those. But I've still got like 9 more to get up. My plan is to get those up today, but I got like 9 more to get up. Pitfall, Spider-Man, some good titles. Most of them are junky titles, but so some of them may go for more. But that was the first sale of Atari box and manual only. $25, Dragonfire. It's a cool box. That's probably why that one sold so quick already. So anyway, next thing that sold was Mario Pinball on GBA. Mario Pinball on GBA. Let's get Mario Pinball. Mario Pinball Land. GBA. So Mario Pinball Land sold for $17 plus shipping. $17 plus shipping. Mario Pinball Land. Some clothes, more clothes going out, guys. More clothes going out. We had an ugly sweater. Well, actually, this one's not. I don't think this was considered an ugly sweater, but I'll pull both of them since I'm over here. Let's see. There's that one, and then where's the other one? Is it up here? Yep, it's right here. All right. So ugly. Oh, I gotta test a Xbox 360 drum set today and guitar. I finally got the game in the mail because I didn't have the game to go with it. But we'll hold on. I'll hold off on that one. So this is a Mario. This one didn't sell for much, but I think I picked it up for $1. Mario Christmas sweater sold for $12 plus shipping. $12 plus shipping on that one. An army shirt sold too. Let me find that army shirt. Clothes, man. Clothes are selling. Finally. Wintertime. Finally getting up out of here. Some of these clothes, man. Get out of here, clothes. Hopefully I can sell through a bunch of these clothes. Because I hate clothes. And I probably won't pick any up till the spring again. But an Army combat shirt sold for $23 plus shipping. So there's that. The Redskins ugly sweater, Christmas sweater, sold for $35 plus shipping. I'm pretty sure I picked this up for $1. So $35 plus shipping. The dark steelbook. Let's see, steelbook. Perfect dark steelbook. They should have went for more, but it only went for $10 free shipping. Perfect dark steelbook. It didn't have the slip cover on it, but still, I don't think it's got the manual in it either, does it? Yeah, it didn't have the manual. Maybe that's why. But $10 plus shipping on that one, or free shipping rather. So this thing's gonna. I may end up eating $1 on that one because it's heavy. Next thing that sold was Grand Theft Auto Liberty City. Liberty City on PS3 sold for $12 plus shipping on that one. $12 plus shipping. Liberty City PS3. Prince of Persia, $10 free shipping on this one. Prince of Persia. There it is. Prince of Persia, $360. $10 free shipping on that one. This other jacket sold. Some clothes going out the door, man. I like it. We're finally starting to get some of these long sleeve jackets and clothes out of here. The North Face jacket, like a little windbreaker type jacket. The North Face. Pretty sure I picked that up for $1 or $2. Sold for $23 plus shipping. $23 plus shipping. And then I had I don't normally put these up on eBay. Because I do, if y'all know and you follow me before, I do autographed football helmets on Facebook Live, right? I'm sure I've said that, and some of y'all have heard me say that. So I had a return. I had a customer that I shipped one out to. Now, mind you, these come directly from our supplier. Normally, if there's a problem with them, and the customer says there's an issue, normally I have them ship it back to the supplier, and the supplier sends them back a replacement. However, I had a guy doing football helmets for me on TikTok for a while, back in the spring into the summer. Well, he no longer is working for me anymore. So it's been months. So I can't return this helmet, even though there's technically a damage on it. I cannot send this helmet back. I cannot send this helmet back to my supplier because it's been way too long. Like, I think he got this helmet back in, I don't know, it was a while. So he just took forever to get it back from him. So I cannot send it back to my supplier to do an exchange on it. So I decided to just put it up on eBay, right? I put it up on eBay. It's a Javon Curse Titans football helmet. It is a replica helmet, so it doesn't have like the real pads in it, but it's real autograph. It's signed by Javon Curse. If any of y'all are familiar with Javon Curse, got a Beckett COA on it, but it has a scratch. If you can pick up on that scratch right there, it's got a scratch. So and then the inside thing, if you can see it moving in there, it's supposed to be connected there with those 2 screws, but it broke off the screws, so that insert is just kind of dangling in there. So I actually put in the listing that it was taped. So that's what I'm doing right now, is just putting some tape on it so it doesn't move around. So when they get it, it's not moving around as much, and they can kind of do what they want to do with it at that point, but it's taped. So there's that. So, all right. So that's that. So yeah, Javon Curse sold this thing for, I gave the guy that I did a return. The funny thing is I bought a Javon Curse on eBay to swap out because our supplier didn't have any more of these. So I actually bought one on eBay for $130 to ship to him. And then this one sold for $120 plus shipping. So luckily I'm only really out, $10 plus, a little bit in fees, instead of being out the whole helmet. So there's that. So, and somebody gets to enjoy that helmet. It has a little scratch on it, but for me, it's not. If it was something I was keeping, you can't really tell the scratch is there. But I did disclose that in the listing, so they know. And that the insert you don't see anyway. So even though it's cracked and not connected, it's not really a big deal. So, but anyway, that sold for $120 plus shipping, and I already showed the jacket, and that's it. So that's the sales. Not a ton. We're right at an hour, which isn't terrible for a Tuesday, coming back from a 3-day weekend with all of your comments, the little bit of eBay thing that I updated you on with the Apple TV, and then just rambling, you know how I do, and then showing off sales. Not terrible. I like to stay around 30, 40 minutes, but for Monday, Tuesday, coming off a weekend, first video back over the weekend, an hour is probably about average. So appreciate you guys hanging with me. Drop those comments, questions, rebuttals, whatever it is you want to throw at me, throw it at me. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. We'll see y'all tomorrow. So we got some sales. It's been pretty dead and pretty quiet for me the last 24 hours. I'll just say that. It's been pretty quiet for me the last 24 hours. That sale came through yesterday at 7 a.m. So it's been 28 hours right now since I've had a sale. So it's been kind of quiet. So I'm going to put down, sales slowing down on eBay again. It's supposed to be Christmas time. What's up? Or something like that. I don't know. Try to be creative. But that's what's happening in my neck of the woods. Appreciate all y'all for your support, for watching, for hanging out. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody.